Hey, what up, everybody? Hope all of y'all is having a blessed and humble day. Continue to have a blessed and humble evening. Like, damn, people be staring hard as shit for their cars, man. Welcome to Valley, baby. Man, I Shorty outside with it. I'm just on my phone, man. I want to give a big shout out to Nate, the great podcast, y'all, for bringing up the topic on, the difference between, how can I say, parental abuse and, parental disciplines. Like there's a big difference. There's been a lot of talk about that. I did a whole live just yesterday, I think it was, and we was talking about the Pennsylvania, how the PA how can I say is planning on doing some changes, right? On how can I say it? Supposedly to make it easier for parents, right? For so that parents that got kids that are 13. Hey, come here, Blue. Come on, boy. Come on, boy. Good boy. Good boy. Um, like for parents to be able to let their kids for parents to be able to leave their kids, babysitting like that, and DHS don't charge them with neglect. I think it's a good idea, right? But like I was saying yesterday, when a parent leaves a child taking care of their kids, right, or of their siblings, they need to make sure that their child is able, right, is responsible to take care of that other sibling. It's kind of like when somebody leaves a 13-year-old, 14-year-old babysitting in their own home, right? If I leave somebody with my child and they're 14, 15, right? I need to make sure, right? I need to be responsible enough to make sure that that person, right, that is babysitting my child is responsible enough to babysit the kid. I can't even see. Hey, we got Cutthroat Entertainment in the building, yo. Go check out my OG lessons. Shout out to Cutthroat. But yeah, man, like we really, really, really need to start looking into these policies, right? And when they do change these policies, right, it needs to come with discernment. Because in the same breath, you got a lot of parents out here, right, that neglect their kids. You got parents out here that'll sit here or leave their kids for days, right, while they're either working or partying or doing, whatever it is. You don't do that, right? One thing is, leaving your 13, your 14-year-old because they're responsible enough to take care of their younger sibling, babysitting their sibling for an hour, maybe so, till you get back from work so that you could do what you got to do with the kids, pick them up from school, walk them to school, make an errand with them to go to the store and stuff like that. See, that's a different story. But to sit here and leave your kid for hours and hours like a lot of people do, or, and what's crazy is, like I was saying yesterday, there's a lot of parents out here, right, that will neglect their kids, and people don't even pay attention to that. But there's parents out here, right? There's a big difference between abuse and neglect. All right, abuse and neglect is a parent that sit here and abuses their kid. All right, is it abuse? Listen, physically, mentally, right? That's abuse. There's parents that do that, right? And then you got the parents that neglect their kids, that don't give them no time, that don't pay attention to them, don't listen to them, don't care about them. So once again, a big, big, big difference. And I feel as though, like I was saying yesterday, right? DHS is one of the how can I say, one of the biggest, how can I say, companies out here, one of the biggest establishments, right? Employed with a lot of social workers that need to learn the difference. And you know what baffles me a lot, right? That we know that a lot of these social workers, right, have family that go through the same thing that you know the families that they sit here and want to bash, put away, take kids from. Because there's a lot of families out here that are doing what they gotta do. I don't get tired of saying this. I don't get tired of bringing awareness to this, right? But one little mistake, like leaving, their 14, 13-year-old, under the care, and what's crazy is I get it, right? But then in the same breath, right, there are kids that are responsible. There's some kids that are not responsible. And that's why I say it's up to the parent. right? To be responsible enough to know what they're doing and who they leave their kids with. But I wanted to say, I wanted to give a big shout out to make a great podcast for bringing up the topic yesterday. Right? He was speaking on the difference between neglect, abuse, and much more, right, when it comes to parenting. And what's crazy is that a lot of these parents don't even know the difference between chastising, discipline, neglect, and abusing their kids, as crazy as it is, right? And this is why we need to have more conversations, all right? Me personally, I make it my job, all right? I speak to my kids every day about everything. There's no shame, especially when they hear something new. All right, when they got questions, I don't mind answering their questions. As a parent, right, I want to make sure that they know what they got to do. Listen, when I make runs sometimes for an hour or two, I pay my son to babysit his younger sister because at the end of the day, I can trust him. He can cook, he cleans up, all right, he listens. He's mature in so many areas. To be in a relationship, no, all right. Like he got this little girl that he's into, and I'm like, nah, man, that's just your friend, that's your girlfriend right now, not your wife. None of that. But in his head, that's his wife. But y'all get where I'm coming from. He ain't mature enough to be in a relationship. But can he watch over his sister for like an hour, 2 hours while I make a run or I gotta do something? Hell yes. And I don't have a problem with that. And I pay him for his job. Because it's something that I'm supposed to do, but I need his, assistance from it. You see where I'm coming from? Like, as crazy as it is, there's a lot of parents out here, all right, that got teen kids and they're teaching them responsibility. That's not abuse. That's not neglect. And if the child is telling you they don't feel abused or neglected, I don't understand why there's teachers, counselors, and social workers out here trying to tear, families apart when they should be sending these social workers out here to the parents that are neglecting their kids. There's parents out here that send their kids to school, dirty clothes, hungry as hell. They letting them know they're screaming from the top of their lungs that they starving, they haven't eaten for days. But mom ain't missed that Tito's, mom ain't missed that E&J or that Henny, but that child starving. See where I'm coming from? Like, man. So, man, we got Gary Busted Down in the building, guys. Make sure y'all go check out my OG Gary Busted Down Brown. All right. But I definitely gotta give a shout out to Meet the Great Yo. I appreciate him for speaking on that. I would love to hear y'all opinions. I do got the link in my community one. Anybody wants to come up and chop it up with the shorties, and give their perspective, their opinion on the topic that I just brought up. Like, how do y'all feel, you know, about? Because listen, all this came about because a mother was charged, all right, for neglect because she left her 13-year-old to babysit his younger sibling. You see where I'm coming from? Like, and there's a lot of parents that are not responsible enough, and they don't have no, their kids have no home training, no nothing. And what's crazy is I see this on a daily, right? Like, there's a crib around here, right, where there's like a grandma, a daughter, right? The aunties live there, all these kids, cousins. Listen, good boy. I know, but he's too small for you. He was about to have dinner. A little water rat. I had to get my dog's attention. No, man, he see his little chihuahuas. He listens. I'm proud of my dog. Shit, people be like, animals don't listen. Well, I don't know. My dog listens. But anyways, back on topic. Right, there's this crib around here, right? Like I said, there's a grandma, aunties, siblings, cousins, all that living in one house. These kids bad as shit, right? And DHS is in and out, in and out, in and out. But not once do you see them, them making any change, you don't see them doing better. None of that. I'm sitting here like, what the fuck? They come in, they close the case. 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 I'm sitting here like, you see what I'm saying? But let it be a mom that's over here doing everything she has to do, getting on her feet, or a single dad doing what he's got to do, getting on his feet. And watch how fast they snatch their kids away from them, or they make their life hard as shit. And that's fucked up. That's why I'm trying to get all these programs out here back into the community. And you know what's crazy? I'm not gonna focus on the ones that don't want the help. If I see one sign of where somebody doesn't want to, really pay attention or get the help or do this, I'm not giving them no attention, no energy. I'm not giving them none of my time because at the end of the day, I'm doing this for those that actually want it. It's too much going on, and we got too many ungrateful people out there. But once again, there's a difference between a neglectful parent, right, and a parent that's trying to teach and chastise their children, right? Like if you peep, right, and I know a lot of y'all people notice it that how many kids are out here roaming the streets, not listening to their parents, out of control. So something has to get done, right? You got kids out here beating up the elderly, right, robbing people, doing dumb shit. And I feel as though, like, if the parent, right, I agree with the law that's being passed in New York, what they trying to pass. If the parent, right, doesn't sit here and do what they got to do when it comes to their 13-year-old and under, right, their child is 13 years old and under, well, then the parent should be charged. Yes, because the parent is letting, is being neglectful, is not doing what they got to do when it comes to their child. Listen, we have to get tough with our kids. We can't sit here and sugarcoat everything, all right? Listen, we have to rear our kids, and that's what we have forgot. And what people fail to realize is that at the end of the day, listen, I always say this, and a lot of people get confused. So hopefully people don't get confused when I say it. All right, you are not the teacher. All right. At the end of the day, when it comes to your kids, yeah, we come off thinking that we're teaching our kids. Yeah, we do teach our kids, right? But our kids are really, teaching us. So they are the teachers, and we are the students, right? The whole 18 years that we teaching these kids, they are really teaching us how to be parents, how to become better people, how to be better in so many things that we're good at, and never to give up, how to keep fighting. So at the end of the day, our kids teach us way more than what we think. And while we're teaching them, we're learning. All right, they're teaching us. But hey, I mean, people see the world differently, and this is how I perceive the world. Oh, oh, my vehicle? I don't have a vehicle, but I appreciate the comment, Justice Caesar. He said, "Hey, I love your stream and what you're doing and what you're talking about. Just wanted to remind you to do a regular maintenance on your vehicle so that it has a long life." Man, I don't have a vehicle though, but I appreciate. Yeah, a lot of people do the do a maintenance check on their vehicles, but I don't drive. I don't drive. I don't like driving at all. Listen, if anything, my bike. I gotta check the battery on my bike though. But yeah, I appreciate that. But yeah, Shorty don't drive that. And I don't want to either. The way they be driving in Philly, ball, man, Philly be out of pocket. We got Young Riaz in the building, yo. Blessings, blessings, Young Riaz, guys. Make sure y'all go check out my young boo, all right? Him and his shorts. He be bringing music from the UK, talking about it and much more. So make sure y'all go check him out. But like I said, man, and you know what's crazy? I think, listen, you know how they be calling the drug dealers thugs or anybody that be in the streets? They be like, oh, these little fucking thugs and this like that. Listen, I think that a lot of people out here are thugs, not the drug dealers. Because in reality, man, when you spell out thug, man, that's the hate you give, right? And what a lot of people out here do is, give hate. Like going back onto the topic, right? Like I was telling y'all earlier, and social workers are out here so fast to fuck with families that are doing what they gotta do. And how can I say, give a blind eye to the families that are neglecting their kids, right? So fast to tear up families that are, trying to thrive and are almost there, but they're not there yet. But so slow to sit here and get into, how can I say, into the family that is abusive and mistreating their, their loved ones, that where the domestic violence, resides. That right there messes me up. Like if each one of these social workers don't have families that go through this shit, like damn, I just lost a job. Now I gotta go look for another job. I gotta make sure these bills are paid. So I gotta go on unemployment. I gotta do this, right? But they don't give a fuck. And what's crazy is, right, none of these goddamn shout out to the ones that do. Because there are a lot of social workers that, actually follow the law. I mean, how can I say not just that, but implement the policies, right? And there's a lot that don't. But unfortunate, right? These social workers, a lot of them, the majority of them, wholehearted. But if the scripts were flipped, man, how would they like it, right? You see where I'm coming from? If they're trying to get their shit together, and at one moment, they, an obstacle hit them, and they got stuck for a second, and now they got to pick up the pieces again and rebuild what they, was doing. And boom, out of nowhere, now you got social workers coming in trying to do things or trying to lock you up for this when you're just trying to do the right thing. And what's crazy is they don't get into the lives of peoples, right, that are abusing their kids until a child's life is lost, until a parent's life is lost. Should be out of pocket. Yeah, he got that German over there. I don't know why he look like a cop. Well, his little dog look vicious. But the bull actually look like a fucking undercover. I ain't gonna say you a lie. Look at that. He look like a whole undie. But I don't think he is. See the way them crows line? I mean, them birds lined up there like crows and shit. I don't think he undercover. Daughter. Where your brother at? Oh, okay. Can I watch? Did you call your grandma? I'll call her right now. Call her first before you go anywhere. Man. But sometimes I do wonder, right? Because it's crazy. You got people. Something I've noticed that what people do out here, I see a lot of people do it on social media too. A lot of people feel some type of way because somebody says something and they right away want to call DHS. Oh, this person is abusing this person, right? And they could have enough evidence on the person that is abusing their kid, and they ignoring that person to come and try to, rip the kids off the arms of a parent that is not doing nothing, but it's just got some hate on them because they're doing the right thing. Let's make it make sense. But how do y'all feel about, them giving 13-year-olds? Tell your dad to call real quick. How do y'all feel about the politicians and legislators trying to, change the policies so that it could allegedly help the mothers, you know, not get, put away in jail or charged with neglect when they're leaving their 13-year-olds babysitting their siblings, or a 13-year-old babysitting anybody's child. Do y'all believe that a parent should be charged for neglect if they leave a responsible child in charge of another child? Or if they leave a child that's not responsible taking care of another child? Oh, how do y'all feel that they should go about policy? Like, let's be real, let's talk about it. These are conversations that are really needed. But I don't think ain't nobody want to touch this topic. So I just wanted to put that out there. I wanted to do a little quick live. All right, and talk to y'all real quick. All right, like shout out to the ones that do leave a comments, helping Shorty out because it makes it easier for me when I go talk to these politicians. And like I told y'all before, man, I'm trying to find a way so that I can get permission to go live on more events here in Philadelphia. And as soon as we do that, man, y'all can see more of the things that are happening out here in Philly. All right, the things that are coming. Like I told y'all, I should be going. I think it's on the 2nd, if I'm not mistaken, of November or the 5th of November, something like that. We going to town. We're going to town hall, and Getty Losada is going to be speaking. All right, and she's going to be speaking about how families should start preparing start preparing themselves for the upcoming cuts that the welfare office is having for SNAP participants. So stay tuned to that live, all right? Especially if you're in Philadelphia, so that y'all can know what are the steps that you need to take because there are a lot of cuts coming, and not just for welfare participants, but also for the people that are receiving SSI. But yeah, once again, the question is, how do y'all feel about politicians adjusting the policies so that minors can have more independence? See, I feel as though that a 13-year-old should be able to babysit if they're responsible enough, right? If they're not, they shouldn't. But it's crazy, right? Where a lot of parents let these 13 years old, right, and they let them consent to sex. 16-year-olds. Oh, it's okay for them to consent, but it's not okay for them to watch a child, or it's not okay for them to go to work. It's not okay for them to, find a little job to make some money after school or on a weekend or a summer job. Like, listen, I've heard plenty of parents out here be like, oh, my child ain't going to work. Because if my child goes to work, it's going to mess up my welfare check. Like, is you fucking serious? Man. As soon as my son said, I want to work, I went and I helped to get his working papers. I'm not stopping him. So wherever he's able to go to work, hey, baby, go make that bread. Get the things that you want to get, and I'm going to help you get the things you need. You see where I'm coming from? Like, and I also give them an allowance for helping out. Like, listen, as parents, we're supposed to rear our kids, teach them how to save up. You see where I'm coming from? How to survive, how to, deal with the things that are happening within this world. And shit be changing fast as shit on a daily. So, like I said, it's up to us. But there's a big difference, man. Shout out to the parents that are out there actually, chastising their kids, disciplining when they have to. And people think that chastising and disciplining means abuse. Oh man, chastising is getting your child on the right track. Disciplining doesn't mean abuse. All right. Like a lot of people, how can I say, um, go overboard when it comes to discipline, right? There's a difference between whooping your child's ass and beating your child's ass. And a lot of people out here beat their kids, all right, to a pope. Sometimes to the point where their kids are in a casket. That's abuse. But if you have to sit here and pop your child, that's not abuse. That's definitely not abuse. That's discipline, exactly. But people confuse the two. Why? I can't sit here and tell you, man. Like, and what fucks me up, right, is how these social workers aren't they supposed to be trained? DHS, CPS, whatever y'all want to call them. All right, they're supposed to be trained to tell what's going on. All right, from the behavior that's happening, but I guess they don't train them. And don't come and tell me, oh, they're not supposed to be trained because I read all this shit. Why aren't they trained to distinguish, between certain behaviors that they see when they come into, certain houses? Huh. That's why they miss so many fucking signs. Or it's that they see the red flags and they just don't give a fuck. It's like they just want to fuck with certain people who they want to fuck with. Because no matter what, they're going to get paid, huh? I guess. Listen, I don't know what it is, but you know how many social workers have gone behind bars for hiding behind, for them hiding behind the fact that they're social workers. Well, I'm a social worker. I could do this. Okay. Come across the right one and see how much you can get across. I mean, how much you can get done or how much you can get away with. Come across somebody that knows their rights, their laws, everything. And that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. So apparently, like I said, legislators are aiming towards this because of a parent. She spoke up. I'm not sure because they're not really speaking or saying a lot on this. I'm not sure if she started a petition or there was a crowd behind her backing her up on this situation. But yeah, so shout out to that mama. Like I told y'all, man. Like, listen, when y'all vote in these polls, it's to put in these politicians, all right, into office. But when y'all go to town hall, is to, fight to change these policies, to get on these politicians' ass to do what the fuck they gotta do. The laws are there. The problem is, right, that these politicians and these a lot of places, these leaders within our communities are not implementing them. They're not doing nothing for these laws to get implemented. That's why I'm like, y'all complaining so much about the president, but the man, listen, the man is only playing the game. All right? It's not even about the man, it's about the system. But hey, I guess to each his own, man. Once again, like I said, a parent that, is sitting here, right, working and can't make it home on time, right, for whatever the reason is, and they need their, their teen child to go pick up their kid from school and watch them until they get home, I don't see the problem with that. A parent that, leaves their child, their teen child babysitting, that's responsible enough to babysit, watching, their siblings, right? I don't see a problem with that. I do see a problem with the moms that leaves all the kids in the house, knowing dang well that their kids don't got no home training, leaving their kids alone for them to go partying, for them to go to work, for them to do this. You see where I'm coming from? Instead of having, whoa, that went strong as shit. Instead of having someone responsible enough watching these kids. Let's be real. So yeah, man, that's why I came on this drum, man. Guys, this is a big difference. There's a big difference between, all right, rearing your child, which involves chastising and disciplining and not abusing, and neglecting your child and abusing your child. All right. And shout out to the parents out here that are rearing their kids. All right. We had a whole live about that. Shout out to the word for breaking that John down. All right. Because he did a live on that, like, what was it? I think it was a few months ago. He broke that John down. He did a few lives on it few months ago, speaking on what is the definition of rearing your child. All right. So like I said, man, social media got a lot of people out here fucked up, man. So sucked into these trends that to me are very unnecessary. Like you don't really learn shit from these trends that are. Listen, I'm not gonna sit here and lie, all right? Kai Sanat, I Speed, all of these little kids, I get it. They following their dreams. But yo, listen, if social media was to ever stop existing, these kids wouldn't even know what to do with their lives. Yo, for real, because all they know is streaming. Like, come on, man. And it's crazy that a lot of these adults are like following into the footsteps. I mean, listen, they know what they're doing. I'm not saying there's a problem with streaming. It's just like this shit is getting out of pocket. It's getting out of hand. And you're not even learning. You're not gaining shit. But shout out to the streamers that, you could actually learn some shit and gain something out of their live streams. Because they're not out here acting like fucking fools and clowns, yo. For real, for real. Man. Yo, it's nice outside. But yo, these birds be looking like fucking crows. I ain't gonna say goodbye, yo. I don't know if y'all can see them. Y'all probably can't. But these Jones is flying everywhere. It's like if somebody just passed away. Look at that shit. He's just everywhere. Y'all know, listen, y'all know what's crazy, man? Let me tell y'all something, man. I see DHS going to home of a woman, right? Let me put it like this: of a woman that's co-parenting with somebody that she was with, right? Or her baby father, let me put it like that, right? But I be trying to find the right way the words so not confuse people because they're not together, right? But they do co-parent, right? And because he didn't really have nobody on his side, you see where I'm coming from, and he had a little record on him, and it's not an abuse or nothing like that. He still, was on parole, but baby mama got into a situation, right? And the baby, I'm not gonna say baby, the toddler, whatever you want to call it, because once they're over 5 years old, they're not the child, right? The child, right? The mom didn't want it to stay with the mom or nobody else in the family, but you know, dad couldn't take him in because of his situation. And I'm sitting here like, damn, like they really put the baby in the system. But see, mom was hard headed too. Like, listen, I know you're independent. You've been doing everything on your own. If it wasn't for your baby pops, you wouldn't be, where you at right now. But shit, man, you ended up in a situation where you couldn't care for your child, and then you made it hard. So it's kind of too like it's up to us too, all right? As parents, is our jobs to protect and nurture our kids. You see where I'm coming from? But as crazy as it seems, I feel as though they should have left the child with the mom because she didn't. She fought this, all right, and she won. But at the end of the day, I feel as though that the child should have never been taken from the mom. You see where I'm coming from? Regardless of anything, she wasn't neglecting the child. She wasn't abusing the child. She was well and able to take care of her own child, right? But somebody was hating, and they called social services on her. And and at that moment, she was going through what she was going through, and she didn't have nobody to help her but her baby daddy. He wanted to take his child in, but couldn't. And it's crazy how they make it so hard, right? Because he's not being charged of abuse, but because he was on parole, they wasn't letting him take the baby. And I like when I was looking into that, I don't think they were supposed to do that because he's not being. Listen, on his jacket has nothing to, with domestic abuse, violence, none of that. All right, he got into a fight. Boom, boom, boom. They press charges. He gotta stay on parole. He gotta check with his parole officer after he came home. But it has nothing to do with domestic violence or abuse. None of that shit. So I'm a little confused, right? And that's what fucks me up. That's what I'm saying. Like there was no reason in this case, in this situation, for them to take the kid away from the mom. But they did. They did. And it fucks me up. Listen, there's lots of parents out here, right? They be working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and sometimes, there comes a point in time where they lose their job, and sometimes, like they have to pick and choose. You see where I'm coming from? Like, do I feed my kids? Do I pay these bills? Right? And I've seen parents like this family that I was just talking about where they work hard as shit. The dad is, doing his life, but still there for the child and still helps the mom out because the mom is a good mom. Shout out to the men that recognize who the good moms are. 'Cause a lot of men don't recognize when they got a good baby mother in their life. But and it's crazy how, like I said, there's a house around here where it's loaded with kids. These kids are always coming outside fighting with kids in the neighborhood, starting drama and bullshit. Where the parents at? Nowhere. Grandma in the house barely can fucking take care of the kids. But you don't see DHS in there, so it's fucked up. It just really the system is backwards. And like I said, it's gonna take a lot of us to go town to each one of our own town halls because I don't know where y'all watching from. I know I'm from Philly, all right, and I make it I make it my priority, my mission to when I feel as though I want to make a change within my community. That's where I go. That's where I go talk. All right. And what's crazy is I gotta give a shout out to my baby pops because he taught me, look, listen, man, if you want to get a point proven and the way you're saying it is really disrespectful, man, there's ways to disrespect motherfuckers very respectfully. So now I prove my point in a well manner. So I don't get kicked out. I don't get saying, I don't get told that I'm ranch or that I don't know how to talk. Oh man, look, listen, now I know how to talk professionally. That always gonna be in me, but shit. The fuck? We got Miss Chicago in the building. Blessings to the beautiful Miss Chicago, yo. Man, they say that families were more united back then. And I believe it, because when I was growing up in the 90s, right, we was united. We had a community. But the problem now is, right, communities exist, but there's no more unity within our communities. The unity is missing. That shit completely gone. That shit vanished. It vanished. That shit is Gone with the Wind and not the movie. What a little badass about to do. Somebody's birthday or she just made a cake?
Probably just had some cake down there.
Yo, your mom always trying to stuff over fucking sweets.
Food too, but it's mainly picky.
Is she lucky she not diabetic? I be telling her that. Like a mustache. What the fuck? Who's that? The Imani? Yeah. She's eating. You wanna ask her if she's gonna come out?
Hold on, give me a minute.
Don't be knocking on my door like you the popo, okay? It's so windy. Why you outside? It's cold.
She upstairs with her brother in the room.
Call her phone. I'm being lazy. I ain't going upstairs.
Neither was I.
You funny. Stay still, phone. My phone wanna act stupid. I'm about to get off this live and go find a movie to watch. Netflix got part 3. I Know What You Did Last Summer.
The newest one.
Yep.
Yep.
The one that goes to the goddamn story. The one I was waiting for. Like, I know there's gonna be another part. They came with this bullshit. I still know what you did last summer. But I wonder how was it gonna continue, right? Because they made it seem like it was gonna continue when they ended part 2 with Brandy and shit. And Brandy comes out on this one too. I was like, yes. All these people are weirdos. What the fuck is he listening to? Yo, there's this guy walking around, right? He looked like a whole fucking undercover cop walking with a German Shepherd.
What?
He's not here right now.
I know. You just said, look.
I'm like, I just wonder, like, was he an undercover cop or is he a hustler with a German Shepherd looking like an undercover? Bull. No, it doesn't help that he's a white boy though. That's the funny part. In the hood.
You know, German Shepherd, they use them for sniffing.
That's why I was like, yo, that's. I was in here looking at this shit earlier, like, what up? Wait a minute. His German Shepherd was dope though. It's just I wonder if they was both undercover. I thought UPS was playing the ice cream song. Where's the ice cream truck?
Crazy. See you later. Ah, they got a new one.
Si, senor.
I'm about to tell nigga park right there in Montevideo.
Who that?
The neighbor next door.
I don't know why she want to.
It's either will or lose hair.
I don't know why they want to park there. They're gonna eat their whole front.
Yeah.
Turning that corner.
Yeah.
Okay, baby. Ooh, you could tell it's after school. I should have came yesterday. That's when all the trash was out. Man, I've been 40 minutes on this, y'all. I'm getting off of this because ain't nobody hit the link to come up and talk to a shorty. It was in my community wall. But my little ass is going inside. All right. I just wanted to, bring this out again, talk about it real quick. All right. Like, I will do a part two, like I said, to the live I did yesterday. Shout out to Nate the Great Podcast for bringing up this topic yesterday. All right. And I wanted to talk about it again just to piggyback off of him. All right. Because it's true how, a lot of people can't tell the difference between, discipline, all right, and chastising your child versus abuse and neglecting your child. Conversations that are, really needed. So, I was hoping somebody will hit the link and chop it up with a shorty while I was up here just jabbing and talking. But nobody was brave enough to hit the link and have a conversation about this topic. So I gotta get off this joint. I definitely gonna watch me a movie, all right? Me and Mary Jane gonna fall back and just chill. But till next time, y'all, we out. I gotta look at it. Haha, it is coming out. I gotta go like that to see the white and the silver. Haha. You know what's dope about it? How it's white and silver. So it's not just gonna be salt and pepper. Hold on, is it the same over here? Yep, it's the same everywhere. Look at that shit. Ha ha ha. We out.